in my other video, it was a very general approach to interviews. So I just wanted to give a bit of a rundown on what it takes to be prepared for an interview and how to generally have a good interview. So when someone says to me, okay, I've got an interview, I always say to them, okay, fine, we're going to have a mock interview first, and then I'm going to give you good feedback, or I'm going to try and give you as much feedback as I can, and I want you to ask questions as well. So definitely have a mock interview, and I would always suggest having a mock interview with somebody that you don't know, because that puts an extra bit of pressure on, and it gives them a good objective view, and as long as they're good at giving feedback, you should get some good information. But also go and find out where it is that you're actually going to have the interview. If you know exactly where it is, fantastic. Do a trial run perhaps if you have the time to actually try and get there, find out how long it's going to take you, check the bus routes, see if you can actually go down before and meet the people there and have a look around if that's possible. Definitely arrive early. If you can get there half an hour early and have a look around, they might say, no, I'm sorry, there's no one to take you around. But they might just say, oh yeah, come and have a look. Or you can spend the time, they always have literature in places that you wait generally. So have a look around, make sure. Select your clothes beforehand. If you're having a mock interview, make sure you dress well for the mock interview. It's really, really important that you dress well for the mock. Make sure that your clothes are all ready the day before and ironed, you know what's happening, you've planned it all out so that that stress is taken away from you. You know you're going to be there, you've just got to concentrate on the interview. But when you're in the interview, of course, you're going to want to knock, if it's a knocking scenario, knock on the door. Don't go in straight away. I've seen tons of people just walk straight in. Bad practice. Wait till you get called in, go in, try and judge the situation. Do they want to shake hands? Do they not want to shake hands? Obviously introduce yourself. Hello, I am. If you can shake hands, definitely do so. You'll find maybe health professionals won't because of the risk of infection. So be aware of that. I've known many nurses not do. But of course, say hello. And wait to be told to sit down, or you don't know what they're going to say. The amount of people I've just go in, just sit down straight on a chair, and they think that's fine, and actually doesn't bode well for them from the beginning really. So what you want to do is sit very comfortably. Don't slouch down, and don't be upright and just I've seen a lot of people like this in an interview, just a bit stage struck. You've just got to try and relax a little bit, just be comfortable. I have a terrible habit where I talk with my hands quite a lot, so I've actually had to try and be a little bit more conscious of that when I'm in an interview and not do it. But also talking too much, it's very easy to just go on and on and on, and it's important that you try and think about your answer and how long you've been speaking. And sometimes an interviewer will pause at the end, or let you have a long break of silence and expect you to say some more. Now that's an uncomfortable period. I always advise people, just say to them, is there any more information that you wanted to know? That then gives you time maybe to think of something, but it also finds out whether they want to know anything else. But also it's good because it's two-way. It means that you're willing to get involved in some sort of discussion with them. So when you're sitting, obviously hands on in pockets, just I always sit on your lap or on the sides of your legs, that's fine. Whatever you're comfortable with, just feel comfortable and relaxed. Okay, so you need to make sure that you listen to the interviewer. There are obviously times where in an interview you do sometimes phase in and out, and it's quite difficult to stay on topic all the time. So try and listen to the question. It's the question you're answering. You might not understand it, so you could say, could you rephrase that please? And you need to always have examples. So as I've said, person specifications, and job descriptions. You need to read both of them and think of examples. Why you organised. I was responsible for transferring receipts between the bank, or between this organisation, collecting data for this. I had a caseload of 20 or 100 people. I needed to do all the administration by a particular date of the month. That shows organisation. Supervising 20 people and dealing with their paperwork, making sure everyone was in on time. So think about what actual examples you can give that you've done in the past, and make sure they're on your CV as well, because if they're on the CV they can just look down, and a lot of people will. You can even bring, a lot of people do actually bring a CV with them, and at the beginning say, did you want a copy of my CV? Don't do that if you're not confident of what's on your CV, because some people will then take your CV and make sure that they go through it and make sure, oh, well, why have you not put this on here? So making sure you're prepared in that way is really, really important. In an interview, it's important that you keep good eye contact. Now, some people find this difficult, and I do understand that. That's why it's important to have mock interviews, so that you're more comfortable with doing this. But also, you don't just want to stare someone down the whole time. If you can see they're uncomfortable, look away every now and again, have a look down at your paperwork. Maybe if you brought some papers with you, they didn't want your CV, I always bring a pen and a pad, just in case I want to write anything, and also, that kind of makes me look like I'm studious. So, it's a good impression to give. Now, when you have this one person, you have your gaze, that's fine, but sometimes you'll have 3 people or 4 people or 2 people. It's important that you direct most of your gaze at that one person who's asking you the question. If there are 2 people, 70-30, you look at them, occasionally you look at them, answer your question, then back to the interviewer, and you need to do that for whoever asks the question. If there's 3 people, 60%, 20-20, you've got to try and make sure that everyone feels part of the interview, because that shows that you understand that this is an interview with more than one person assessing you, and it shows that you're confident. It's a difficult skill to have, but if you have mock interviews, it's easier. Make sure you have prepared questions. Make sure those questions aren't about money. The amount of people that come to me, say, and have a mock interview, and the first question they ask is, how much will I be earning? Now, that's not the question to ask at all. A good question would be, who would I be reporting to? And so that you'd say, is the line manager. That line manager could be there, and that's good for them. And you could always say a little hello, because you need to create some sort of bond. Don't joke with people. It's not good to have a good joke plan or try and laugh at a lot, or try and talk you out of trouble. It's all good. It's an interview. They're testing you. So the questions I would suggest that you have to ask would be, say for instance, who would I be reporting to, or who within the organisation deals with HR, or a good question a lot of people ask is, what type of training would there be available for me in the future? It's a question that a lot of people ask, so it's good to try and get a question that actually relates to the job. So if you're, say, being an accountant, training accountancy role, or if you're an assistant somewhere that is a company you want to work for, maybe you want to be an accountant in the future, you could say, would there be any opportunity of getting on any training so that I could be involved in some of the accountancy? So then you're not saying, I want to be an accountant and this is what I want to do. You're saying, will there be an opportunity for me to just rise a little bit in the company? They then think, well, this person wants to stay. That's a good question. So whenever, if you have an advisor gives you a set amount of questions, make sure you look at them and go, okay, is there a better one I can ask? Is there a better one that makes me feel a little bit more part of the company and that they will get a return from me? Okay, research the company. It's really, really important that you research the company. It's imperative that you know what they're about, so that you know how you can help them and what you can actually do. So definitely prepare. You need to make sure that you know your subject inside out, and make sure that you just feel comfortable. Make sure that you know what's happening, when it's happening, and that you feel in control before you even have to answer any questions.